Привit. This is a tale about boasting and what can come of it. Who would tell us of the things of old, of the things of old, and of the things that have been? Of Ivan, the merchant's son, and his horse, and the race. In royal Kiev town, glorious Prince Volodymyr held a mighty feast for his princely boyare, the stout Russian bogatiri, and the rich merchants. The day was half spent, the feast half over, and all were making brags, as one does at that time of the feast. Prince Volodymyr waxed merry and paced the banquet hall. "Ho, all ye princely nobles and the Rus heroes all," he cried at length. "I too can boast. I have 300 stallions, and 3 of them of exceeding merit. One is an iron gray, the second's mane hangeth all to one side, the third is coal black. Him Alyosha Popovich captured from the dragon's son, Tugarin. This steed can gallop from Kiev to Chernihiv between dawn and dusk, and the distance is 300 versts, and thereto 30 versts and 3. Is there in all Kiev town a man whose horse can do the like?" All hid and made no answer. Then Ivan, the merchant's son, stepped forth and cried in piercing tones, "Lord Prince Volodymyr, such a horse have I, and I will lay a great wager. Not 100 hryvnia, not 1,000, but my own turbulent head shall be the stake, and that my horse shall run against thy horse from Kiev to Chernihiv between dawn and dusk, as thou hast said." "What devil wilt thou ride then, Ivan?" quoth fair son. With that, all the princely nobles and rich merchants staked 100,000 hryvnia for the prince, but none laid any stake for Ivan, save only the ruler of Chernihiv. With great speed did they write on the strong contracts and set their white hands thereto. That made the contracts binding and effectual. And the prince and the merchant's son quaffed a cup of green wine of a bucket and a half and saluted each other, and Ivan, the merchant's son, left. When he came to the stall of white oak where stood his shaggy brown steed of 3 years, he fell before the horse's hooves and wept in floods. "Help me, my good steed," quoth he, and told him of the great wager. Surprisingly, the horse answered in human tongue, "My courteous master, thou hast no cause to grieve. I fear not that iron gray, nor the other 2. If I run for thy wager, I shall outstrip them. But do thou water me for 3 dawns with mead, and feed me with Sorochinsky wheat. And when the 3 days are past, a stern messenger shall come to thee from Volodymyr, bidding thee ride against him. Then saddle me not, Ivan, but take me by my silken bridle and lead me to the royal court. Don thy mantle of sables. When thou leadest me to the court, I shall rear up and paw thy mantle and nip the black sables and prance in all directions. Then shall the prince and his nobles marvel. But care not thou, for it shall go well for thee. I will redeem thy turbulent head and put courteous Prince Volodymyr and my elder brother to shame." And so it came to pass. The shaggy brown was led into court by Ivan, and he was nipping at Ivan's mantle of sables. And he was neighing in such a manner that the 300 stallions fled in terror. The iron gray broke both its front legs trying to get away. The long-maned steed broke his neck. And the captive black, the horse that had once belonged to the beast Tugarin, which Alyosha Popovich had captured, fled neighing, tail uplifted, back to the golden horde, leaping across the Dnipro in his terror. All who saw it were terrified, and Ivan cried out, Your Highness, Prince Volodymyr, is it not time for us to ride to Chernihiv? But there was no horse for Prince Volodymyr to ride. Then said sweet Ivan, merchant's son, delay not, Prince Volodymyr, but count out to me that great wager of 100,000 hryvnia. This Volodymyr did with great sorrow, and said, yield me thy steed, sweet Ivan's merchant's son, for I have none left to ride. Quoth sweet Ivan, my steed was bought in the great hoard from under his mother for 500 hryvnia, and before he came to me he cost 1,000. Shall I give such a steed to Prince Volodymyr? Nevertheless he yielded him, and Volodymyr commanded that the horse should be led to the stable and fed with fine wheat and watered with sweet mead. But the stableman came running back in dire haste, made great complaint, and said that the steed would neither eat nor drink, but hissed and shrieked like a dragon, and struck dead all the horses with the terror it caused. Then was Prince Volodymyr very wroth. He wrapped himself in his mantle of sable and spoke this word: "Ho there, thou Ivan, merchant's son, lead that horse from my court forthwith. The devil take thee and thy steed." Thus was the great race ridden. It was at the feast I heard this tale. There it was, I drank mead ale. Though it flowed down my beard, my mouth stayed dry, for never a drop passed my lips, swear I.